Good evening. Welcome to the University of Toledo College of Nursing Fall 2020 BSN White Coat Ceremony. My name is Kathleen Mitchell, and I serve as Assistant Dean of Student Services for the College of Nursing. It is my pleasure this evening to start things off by first introducing Dr. Linda Lewandowski, Dean of the College of Nursing and Vice Provost for Health Affairs for Interprofessional and Community Partnerships. Dr. Lewandowski.
Good evening and welcome to our virtual white coat ceremony of the University of Toledo College of Nursing. As Dr. Mitchell noted, I have the honor and privilege of serving as Dean of our College of Nursing, and this ceremony is always one of my special moments. Given the times in which we live, we must, of course, as our first priority, promote the health and safety of everyone. Thus, we're not able to be together this evening in face-to-face mode. So although this white coat ceremony is a bit different than in the past, it still is a very special occasion. This evening, we've gathered not in an auditorium, but in homes and communities as faculty, staff, family members, friends, and significant others to join together to witness the ceremonial entrance into the nursing profession of 144 Bachelor of Science in Nursing students. Becoming a nurse is, in fact, a wonderful decision. Nurses save lives and play increasingly vital roles in today's healthcare system. The advent of the COVID-19 global pandemic has highlighted the important role that nurses play in the healthcare system, heightening the visibility and impact of nurses in a way probably never seen before. The old notion of a nurse as a handmaiden to the physician is long gone, if it ever existed in reality. Nursing calls for intelligent women and men who are caring and compassionate and employ complex assessment skills, critical thinking, and problem solving to, as our University of Toledo mission prescribes, improve the human condition in the region and the world. Nurses work in hospitals, clinics, schools, jails, factories, health departments, substance abuse treatment centers, hospice, daycare centers, senior centers, rural farm communities, urban metro centers, villages in Africa or South America. Nurses are everywhere, working to improve the health and well-being of individuals, families, and communities, and nations across the globe. Nurses work as bedside nurses, critical care nurses, public health nurses, academic or hospital educators, researchers, consultants, health policy experts in the halls of state legislatures or Congress, even recently as acting Surgeon General of the United States. The options for how you will make your impact as a nurse are limitless. We know that the public appreciates the special role that nurses play. The World Health Organization designated 2020 as the International Year of the Nurse and Midwife in honor of the 200th anniversary of Florence Nightingale's birth, and had no idea at the time how prophetic that designation would be. Last December, the American public again ranked nurses as the professional with the highest honesty and ethical standards, the most trusted profession. This is an awesome distinction, and you are all going to be building your careers on an awesome legacy. So today marks a symbolic beginning. The white coat ceremony has served as a rite of passage into one's profession for several healthcare professions, and in recent years, nursing has adopted this ceremony. My more mature, as they like to say, faculty colleagues will remember our capping ceremonies that for so many of us marked a similar beginning. The lamp, originating with Florence Nightingale, has also been a symbol of nursing. Nowadays, it's the white coat. The College of Nursing adopts this practice for each new nursing cohort. Today's white coat ceremony is supported by a grant received through the Arnold P. Gold Foundation and the American Association of Colleges of Nursing. We will see that each of you receives a pin from the Gold Foundation that bears the admonition of keeping healthcare human. Nursing has a rich history. The legacy of nursing has national as well as international roots. I'm pleased now to introduce our esteemed speaker for this evening, Dr. Carrie Lee, a professor here in our college and a nurse historian, who will take us on a journey through time, highlighting some of nursing's rich heritage and important contributions to the health and well-being of our nation and the world. Dr. Lee.
Thank you, Dean Lewandowski. Welcome, students. On behalf of our faculty, I am confident in saying that you have made an excellent choice in choosing nursing. The 2020 Year of the Nurse and Midwife gives us a wonderful opportunity to reflect upon our heritage and the possibilities of our future, a future that you will be a part of. This summer, I celebrated my 44th year as a nurse. I never would have imagined what has become my personal history in nursing, for which I am so grateful. In my first fall term, I was both nervous and excited, not really being able to anticipate all of what lay ahead of me. I certainly had vivid experiences that I can still recall. They were my first chapters in my nursing story. As a student, I was too busy to imagine that path that has truly shaped me, both as a person and as a nurse. I imagine that your future journey is not yet predictable to you, but trust me, you have chosen to do important work. When we were asked earlier this year to choose a word that represented nursing to us, I chose privilege. It has been the privilege of my life to be a nurse, and it is my privilege to welcome you. In February of this year, I presented at an international nursing conference in Florence, Italy, called Florence 2020, rightfully so, as that was the city of her birth. Presentation topics at the conference ranged from nurses' involvement with tuberculosis management post-World War I to the origins of advanced practice nursing, to the experience of nurses in a 2017 terrorist attack in Barcelona, Spain. Attending this conference was yet another way that I can take pride in the heritage of my profession and its influence from the local to the most far-reaching of places. I was able to imagine the path of many nurses as I listened to these global scholars. With that in mind, I have framed my remarks to you today around the word imagine. Yet again this year, as Dean Lewandowski mentioned, we have ranked tops in the Gallup poll as a trustworthy and reliable profession, constantly held in high regard by others. An exception was in 2001 when firefighters post 9/11 earned that well-earned and saluted ranking. We earned that result by always delivering on the American Nurses Association definition of our work: to protect and to promote health, to prevent illness and injury, to promote healing, to alleviate suffering, and to serve as advocates. This sounds like a tall order. It is not more than we can do, and it is certainly not more than we have done. So let's imagine what has been done and what you will do. Noted historian David McCullough contends that history is who we are and why we are the way we are. This holds true for you. Each of you has a history, a journey of experiences, relationships, and interests that have informed your choice to be here today. His adage also holds true for our professional history. Countless men and women before you have advanced this cause for centuries. As you imagine your future, I hope you will take pride in our past and a connection to it. Time is limited, but let's just imagine a bit of some of those who have come before you. Imagine Anna Mae Hayes, who died recently at the age of 97. From a childhood in which she practiced wrapping bandages around the legs of the kitchen table, she was inspired to join the Army Nurse Corps after the Japanese attack on Pearl Harbor. She went on to establish the first military hospital in Incheon during the Korean War and oversaw a 4,500 member nursing group in Vietnam when trauma care was advancing. At a time when it was a hard sell, she pushed to advance education for military nurses and was a pioneer in removing barriers to pregnant women and mothers in the military. Although her obituary states there are no survivors, in one sense this is incorrect. Just imagine the legacy of leadership and commitment she left behind for the nurses she led and to the men and women who followed her as nurse leaders. Imagine the young nurses of Boston General Hospital who boarded a train in response to a 1917 massive harbor explosion in Halifax, Canada, that killed and injured thousands. Such is the gratitude of Nova Scotia that they have sent a large Christmas tree annually to the city of Boston. It must have been exciting for nurses like our former faculty colleague, Dr. Kortheis, to be among the first of nurses to open up a critical care unit in the 1960s. I can recall as a cardiac nurse in the late 70s, the pace of new drugs and technology that came our way that transformed outcomes for our patients. Now common, these innovations presented exciting opportunities for nurses as clinical experts in the delivery of complex care. As we consider contemporary disease contagions, imagine being with a lay nurse named Kezia DePelkin, who went toward and not away from providing care to multiple 19th century yellow fever epidemics. Many nurses' journeys are unsung and untold. So here is a shout out to our local history, to the men and women who decade after decade have showed up every day, wherever they worked, and did it well. They have taken every change in both healthcare delivery and in nursing in stride. Imagine the importance of their work as nurses to countless patients and to families, both their mission and their reward. Imagine Clara Barton's journey as a Civil War nurse and founder of the American Red Cross, who challenged queries about her presence as a woman in the arena of war. She replied, "If you chance to feel that the positions I occupied were rough and unseemly for a woman, I can only reply that they were rough and unseemly for men." Similarly, in service, poet Walt Whitman wrote that he gained more from those he cared for in the Civil War than they did from him, describing it as the greatest privilege and satisfaction, and of course, the most profound lesson of my life. Imagine the career of Mary Eliza Mahoney, who in 1879 became the first African-American nursing graduate in the United States. She dedicated much of her career to challenge the status quo and discrimination found in her chosen field. The American Nurses Association has had a tradition of an award for her to those who make efforts expanding diversity and inclusion. Imagine the efforts of Dr. Luther Chrisman, an early advocate for gender diversity in nursing, the first male dean of an American nursing school and co-founder of the American Association for Men in Nursing. 2 national awards have honored his career in recognizing the substantial contributions of men in the advancement of our profession. Imagine the careful efforts of all the standard bearers who continue to build a mission of increasing diversity in our ranks so that we become more and more like the people and communities that we serve. What must it have been like for the red-caped Anzac girls of Australia and New Zealand to travel to Gallipoli in the Great War, some of them lost at sea? Imagine the experience of Nurse Lydia King, who wrote in her diary, "Shall not describe their wounds, they were too awful. One loses sight of all the honor and the glory in the work we are doing." Imagine the nurses who have served in the military, including those from our faculty and student bodies, who have served others in times of both peace and war. An example is our CNL program alum, Air Force Major Michelle Binder, whose personal history of overseas deployment and seeing those with PTSD influenced her choice to earn a psych mental health doctoral degree. Mary Breckenridge, 1925 founder of the Kentucky Frontier Service, wrote, "It grew upon me that nurse midwifery was the logical response to the needs of the child in rural America. My work would be for them." Can you imagine going to your clinical rotations on horseback in rural Appalachia? Her pioneering work continues today as an outstanding model of care delivery. Lillian Wald's public health nursing in the late 19th and early 20th century was visionary, and she modeled for us social activism. Imagine since all the nurses, including those in our college, who have expanded professional education, influenced policy and legislation for the public good, and advocated for the development of a just society and healthcare system. Our history is long and our influence is alive and well. The Year of the Nurse has brought special attention our way, and we know our nurse colleagues did not imagine themselves to be part of a global pandemic. But as nurses always have, they have stepped up their game while facing difficult circumstances in practice, professional ethical challenges, while also always advocating for better practice and public health policy. Just today, one of my students wrote that our profession is unbeatable. It doesn't take much imagination to know that we will look back at this particular time and place in history, and we will be surrounded by the evidence of our commitment and our contribution. So you can see that it's not hard to imagine our place in that poll. Imagine the ways that nurses have and will continue to do that, and how you will in your future. I truly believe that each of you go through a process of becoming a nurse, just like we did. I know that my instructors were right, as your faculty are now, that what you learn, see, and do here in the next few years will forge your beginning identity and knowledge as nurse. Like me, you might not see now, but we are able to see your future success as nurses and as leaders. You are our legacy. Don't forget to have fun and make special relationships and memories along the way. Please celebrate beginning, take full advantage, and just imagine that right there on the shoulder of your new white coat are all those who have come before you. Thank you, and my best wishes to each of you. I would now like to introduce our wonderful Dr. Susan Sahaki, Program Director of our pre-licensure BSN program, who will introduce the next part of this evening's program.
Thank you, Dr. Lee. Students, it is my great pleasure and privilege to welcome you to the profession of nursing. First, I'd like to share with you some of my own personal experiences as a nurse. I've had opportunities to work with cancer patients, those struggling to live with a scary diagnosis, or to die with dignity, surrounded by loving family and caring nurses who are there to help them make the transition from this life to the next. Among my most privileged moments are those holding the hand of a patient who takes their last breath, and then holding the hand of the family member who doesn't know what to do next. I've worked with gifted surgeons who've tried to reconstruct a nose, a chin, a breast, in an effort to provide a more dignified life to a cancer survivor. I worked in long-term care, educating those with minimal formal education about how to speak with frightened elders who've been abandoned by their family members because their personal needs have become so significantly burdensome, or they can't even communicate their needs anymore. These professional experiences have formed me and molded me into the nurse and educator that I am today. You have many things to learn and to experience and to feel. And today is the first step in that formation process. Today, we formally welcome you to the profession of nursing. As we could not conduct this ceremony in person, we asked each of our students to send us a video of their own special cloaking moment. Students either chose to cloak themselves or asked someone special to cloak them. I think you will enjoy this 27-minute video that shows each of our students in their special moment. We will then come together again for the ceremonial reciting of the Nightingale Pledge. So you may want to gather that pledge so that you have it and can refer to it when we get to that part. Okay, let's start the video now and go Rocket Nursing.
Oh, wow. I love seeing all of those individual moments of each one of our students. Special individual personal moments, special places, special people, special dog. That was the first. So congratulations to you all. Although I didn't get to shake each of your hands and personally welcome you into our profession this evening, I now say to each and every one of you, welcome to nursing. Let's do a virtual applause and celebration. All of you families and friends out there on YouTube, let's hear you across the waves of whatever out there. Let's do a virtual applause and celebration for all of our nursing students. So yay! Welcome to the profession. The reciting of the Nightingale Pledge has been an honored tradition of nurses since 1893. So all of our students, if you'll please rise, and I'm going to give you a moment to turn on your videos, and then we'll recite the Nightingale Pledge. So let's get everybody's visual on. I see a whole bunch of people popping up. Yay. A few more people coming on. Make sure you all have your Nightingale Pledge ready, unless you've memorized it. I never did. So I need to read it. Okay, more videos are coming up. Waiting for the high sign, means you're all on. Almost there. 144. Guess it takes a while for all the videos to run. Ready? Okay. All right. So we're now going to recite the University of Toledo College of Nursing updated version of the Nightingale Pledge. So please read along with me. I solemnly promise to practice nursing to the best of my ability and to live my life with integrity. I will strive for excellence using professional nursing standards and the ANA Code of Ethics as guides. I will endeavor to use my intellect, spirit, and knowledge in providing non-judgmental, compassionate, and quality care to all I serve. I accept the responsibility of this important work, embrace a journey of constant learning and growth. I will work collaboratively to protect and promote the health and safety of individuals, communities, and society. I will do all in my power to maintain and elevate the art and science of nursing, respectful of the contributions of nurses who have come before me. Today, I proudly begin my commitment to this wonderful profession. Congratulations. In closing, we know that the journey that you've embarked on will require dedication, effort, and resilience. But you're not alone in this journey. You have with you, either physically or in spirit, family, friends, significant others who will be here to support you over the next 2 years as you pursue the final stages of your goal to become a nurse. The faculty and staff and I are also here to assist you, whether virtually or in person. We're here with you and we'll be cheering you on. Your future is so bright. In summary, congratulations again to each and every one of you who worked so hard to make it to this moment. Thank you all, family and friends and significant others too, for joining us this evening. It's truly a day of celebration. We're proud to welcome all of you to the nursing community. Go Rocket Nursing. Are you done?